Hello, good morning. It is currently 9 AM in the morning on Saturday the 1st of October. We have made it to October. It is one of the best months of the year. I love this time of year. I love autumn. I love spooky season. I love that we have Spookathon coming up this month. I am so hyped for all the reading. I always feel like I get to this time of year and have so many books saved to read over October and spilling it into November as well. So I thought it would be a fun idea to do a little reading vlog for the first weekend in October. I'm actually also doing a readathon this weekend with my patrons. So it's a 48-hour readathon running from Saturday to Sunday. I have already started my reading today and I have read about 60 or so pages of my current read, which I will tell you about in a minute. But I thought it'd be really fun to do this as like a kind of vlog readathon hybrid thing. So this is going to be a little 48-hour vlog. Hopefully it's going to be nice and cozy. I just wanted it to be a kind of welcome to autumn. It is officially October. I'm ready for it type of vlog. So that's the plan. Also, obviously, doing the readathon at the same time. So let me tell you my TBR for the weekend. Okay, so the book that I'm currently reading is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. This is a very strange read so far. I'm about 130 pages into it. Read about 60 pages this morning. This follows three perspectives, really. We follow the perspective of a man who is living very isolated in his house. He is in quite an isolated setting in general, like the house seems to be quite far away from a big city and is very much a forest atmosphere. He is on a road living with other people, but he kind of keeps himself quite secluded from them. So we follow this man who is living with who he says is his daughter. But right at the start, like literally the first page of this story, we are looking at the story of a missing girl who was potentially abducted when she was a young girl. So this man and his potential daughter are living in this house. We are also following the perspective of his cat, which is quite an interesting perspective to read from, and we are following the perspective of the woman whose sister was abducted. This is all about 10 years after the abduction, or like the disappearance of this young girl. So we're following those different storylines as they knit together and seeing the life of this man and this young girl and how that's all gonna work out. It's very weird, especially the cat angle. Like the cat angle is quite clever because we see the events through the cat's eyes and then we get to see how the people interacted in those events. So the cat kind of interprets things in a cat-esque manner, and then we get to see the perspective of the actual characters, so like of the man or the woman having the conversations the cat's just kind of partially overheard, which is interesting because we get fed the information in multiple different ways. So I am enjoying this so far. It's definitely very unique, it's definitely very strange, it's quite absorbing. Like I was sat reading this morning and just had that feeling where I was just fully thrown into the book, which is really good because up until last week where I finished 13 by Steve Kavanagh, I was feeling very, very slumpy before reading that book, and I think that book has definitely helped get me out of the slump. I'm hoping this reading vlog and this readathon will also help get me out of the slump. So this is the first book that I'm hoping to finish today for this reading vlog. If I can get through to more books, I would also like to finish The Man on Hackpen Hill by J.S. Monroe. I'm currently about halfway through this as an audiobook. I'm not loving it, I'm not hating it, it's not great, the writing isn't fantastic and it just feels very scatty. This is about some crop circles that have appeared with a dead body in the middle of them, and this is the investigation into it from one investigator and one journalist, following two different narratives again. And there's definitely something larger at play and I am intrigued to see what that is. However, I don't really feel too invested. It doesn't really stand out for me at the moment. The reason I picked this book up initially is because this is set around an area I used to be quite familiar with, so it's interesting seeing the book set around there. So I'm gonna give this one a bit more of a go. I'm not 100% sure if I'll even end up finishing this. Like this might end up being a DNF because I just don't really feel invested in it. But if I've got a chance to listen to an audiobook today, it will be this one. Then if I can get to any more physical reads, I've put The X-Hex on this TBR by Erin Sterling. This is a contemporary fantasy. The reason I've put this one on this TBR is because I feel like this would be quite easy to get through. This is also outside of my normal reading genre, which I think relates to one of the prompts for Spookathon, if I've remembered correctly. So I think that I could probably get to this one. I mean, it's under 300 pages, I think, or just about the 300 page mark. It's going to be quite a fast, easy read, I think. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't know if it'll be my thing or not, but I would like to find out. This is in no particular order, by the way, so this isn't like a priority order list, but the final book that I want to try and get to is Horrorstore by Grady Hendrix. This is one that I am so excited about. I bought this last October, really hyped to read it. It's a haunted house set in an IKEA-esque shop, and I am so hyped. The format of this book is absolutely amazing. It's literally laid out like an IKEA catalogue. It looks so unique. I quite enjoyed the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This one, I don't know if it's gonna be a fast read or not, because like it's not massive. It's around 200 pages, and the format is kind of spaced out. Like what was that? That was my attempt at showing you. There we go. The pages don't have a full amount of text on them, so I feel like in that sense it's gonna be shorter than it looks, which makes me feel like it's going to be quite intense and quite creepy. So yeah, I mean, the back cover, got like hands reaching out of cupboards. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. This is my little TBR for the weekend. I'm heading out in a little bit. I want to nip up to TK Maxx because I went like last month or the start of, no, it's now October, of course it was last month. At the start of September I went, and they had candles, but they had a lot of repeats of the same candles and not like a wide array of candles. And I've seen people hauling candles that have got like more of a selection from there, so I want to go back and see if they've got more autumnal candles. I also really want some more autumnal decor that's not necessarily like Halloween specific, so like some kind of autumnal leafy decoration. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I would really like to be able to pick something up like that as well. And very excitingly, I need to get some wicker baskets to store my candles, because I did a big sort out of everything during the week and I just kind of need to get organised with it. So that's the plan for this morning. And then later on in the morning, I am going to be jumping onto Patreon sprints. So it's basically going to be a big day of sprinting today to try and get as much read as possible. So of course, I'm going to take you along with me the whole weekend. I hope you enjoy this vlog. Let's crack on with the reading. Hello, I return with goods. I'm also about to join a reading sprint, so I just wanted to very quickly show you what is in my basket. So I picked up this basket. I wanted to get like a wicker basket to be able to put on my bookshelves to keep all my candles in, but they were either too small or way too big, so I didn't want it to look like it was occupying like a whole shelf on the bookshelf, so I decided to go for this, which I'm really hoping works okay. It's a kind of soft green, sage green colour, but I don't think you can really tell because this lighting makes everything look purple pretty much. But I got two candles as well. So I got this one first. This is Sutton Lodge and this is smoked birchwood. I really like the design of this jar, and this one also has a little wooden wick. So this is my first candle. Then I got this one, which is Sand and Fog Pumpkin Harvest, and it's got a little pumpkin on the lid. I think this one's a double wick. Yeah, double wick. I like the bigger candles because I can just have them burning for many, many, many hours. Okay, so now I'm gonna attempt to get all the candles in this. Hopefully it fits them all. If it doesn't fit like every single one, I don't mind putting a couple more on my shelves, especially like these ones, for example, I'm just gonna be putting straight out. And then in 10 minutes, I am starting Patreon sprints for the day. So it's now nearly 11:45, which is the time that sprints start. So yeah, gonna crack on with some reading. I was listening to The Man on Hackpen Hill in the car on the way to TK Maxx, but I don't know. I may possibly DNF it. I don't really care about what's going on. I feel like the reason for me wanting to read it was because I was familiar with the settings, and whilst I am enjoying that aspect, I don't think that's enough for me. It is a mystery type of storyline, but I'm not drawn in. There's not really any push with it yet. Like, there's no intrigue building, and I'm saying I'm halfway through. I think I'm around half. I don't actually know. I've got about 3.5 hours left in the audiobook, and I feel like if I'm not enjoying it at this point, it's not going to get any better. So considering DNFing that, I haven't fully committed to that decision yet, but right now I'm going to organise some candles. I didn't actually think they were all going to all fit, but they have. It works quite well. So yeah, this is the situation for now until I at some point hopefully upgrade the bookshelves in this office and don't have them, because they're basically all behind this cupboard at the moment, but I really want to be able to use this as shelf space. So I've been working on clearing out all of this space, which was messy. It wasn't great. It did have an order and then it just became messy. So I've cleared this out, and hopefully I can kind of not have the need for the cupboard, so I can just have this whole thing as a shelf, but a different shelf. Anyway, it's something that I'm hoping will be happening soon, but yeah, I think that works quite well. Okay, I've finished my first book of the weekend. It is currently just gone past 4 and I have finished, reviewed, rated The Last House on Needless Street. This book was a rather brilliant, intriguing, mysterious, intense, and at times quite sad journey to go on. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was unlike anything I have ever read before. I'm struggling to summarize it properly without giving away too much about this plot, because I think it's the kind of book where the blurb itself gives pretty much nothing away, which is what I said when I was filming my TBR video for October. And now I have finished the book and I know what happens. I don't want to say anything more to accidentally tell you where it goes. So I will say that this book is a horror thriller genre. It has multiple narrative perspectives that offers a really interesting look at the characters that we are dealing with here and at how they are portrayed depending on which narrative perspective you are seeing them through. And that the story has a brilliant way of unravelling. I'm being so careful with what I'm saying and how I'm picking my words. It was 5 stars. If you have this on your TBR and you're considering reading it, I would strongly advise picking it up. Do look up the trigger warnings for this because it does have quite a couple of things in it that aren't too pleasant at times, so definitely check that out. But absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I'm really pleased that I've been able to read this one. When I started this one, which was yesterday, I think, I only read about 30 pages yesterday. I knew that it was entrancing, like it definitely felt like it was really captivating me, but I felt like it would be a slower read. However, I have just been obsessed with reading it this afternoon, and yeah, my first read of the readathon done for the weekend, my Patreon readathon, and also my first spoopathon read done. So very excited about that. I have now got 2 books to pick from to read next. So I've actually created a poll in my Patreon to let my patrons pick. So it's either going to be the XX or Horror Store, and I will let you know which one gets picked. I've got about 20 minutes for the vote to be live. I'm going to read them both, hopefully, but yeah, they're both quite different from each other. I think the XX of the 2 of these is probably going to be the quickest read because I think that's going to be more easygoing, whereas this one, I feel like it's probably going to scare the crap out of me. I don't know, like this picture on the front, it's giving me that kind of vibe. I don't know, don't know why. We've got the hands on the back. Just, yeah, the creepy vibes are coming through with this one. I feel like this one's definitely going to be one that if I'm reading it later tonight, it's probably going to creep me out. So we'll see how that goes if I end up, because actually either way, if this one's the picked as the next one I read, then I'm probably going to end up reading it later tonight. Well, I'll start it on the next sprints, but like read it into the evening. And if not, then I'll probably end up reading it tomorrow night instead. So either way, probably going to be reading this one at night. So we'll see how creepy it gets. Anyway, I will let you know when I know which book has been picked. The poll has spoken and Horror Store is my next read. I have been very, very excited to read this one ever since I got it last year. Really, really intrigued to see what I think of this. I'm kind of hoping it does scare me a little bit. I do want that from it, so fingers crossed it does. I'm excited to crack on with it. Okay, I have an update about Horror Store. So I'm about 70 pages in. I am really liking the direction this is heading in. I can see it's going to be quite creepy. I like the idea of the store at night. It's a dark, creepy, isolated, foreboding setting, and I think it's all kind of knitting together quite well, hopefully, to create quite a creepy atmosphere. One thing, though, that I will say that I think is throwing me a touch in this, so it's not a bad thing necessarily. The dynamic between these characters is quite fun and playful, and I could see it working out as a kind of comedy horror film, like Shaun of the Dead style editing type of thing. But one thing it's also reminding me of is the characters in Superstore, which is a show I'm currently obsessed with. I'm nearly finished watching all of the seasons on Netflix at the moment, and I'm really liking it. And the characters in this seem really similar. The main character in this is called Amy. The main character in Superstore is called Amy. There's a couple of other similar names as well, and similar character traits. And I can't help but imagine the characters from Superstore as the characters from this book. So not a bad thing, but just kind of the way that I'm envisaging it. So enjoying it, liking it so far, intrigued to see where it goes. I am now off Patreon sprint, so we sprinted for pretty much the whole afternoon we were live, and I will be doing the same thing again tomorrow, which will be really good because I think it definitely helped me read quite a lot. Definitely will be finishing Horror Store today or tomorrow, depending on how much I get read today. I do want to watch a horror film tonight. I don't know what level I want to watch. I was considering watching You've Got Mail. I know that's not a horror film, but I think if I'd have been reading the X-Hex, I maybe would watch that because it's kind of the same cutesy autumnal vibe. Maybe. I don't know, I haven't read the X-Hex yet, but that's kind of my assumption of it. Whereas now I'm reading a horror book, so I kind of feel like watching a horror film. When I say I don't know what level, I don't know if I want to go like super intense horror film or like a kind of medium level horror film. I feel like there's different levels. So I'm gonna have a look across the streaming services and see what I want to watch. I will let you know what I pick. I have my dinner in the oven. It is now nearly 7, so it's been quite a full day of reading. I feel very productive. I definitely think I can say I'm out of my slump now. I think this has really, really helped. I was getting to the point where I just wasn't wanting to pick up a book, and now all I can think about is picking up a book. So it's definitely worked, which is what I really wanted to be able to achieve. And we're only one day into October, so already bossing it, enjoying the Spoopathon TBR side of things as well. It's all good. I will update you when I pick my film choice. For anyone who knows of my aversion to elongated limbs, will know that Come Play is not the film for me. What the hell is happening here? Can you see that? The giant arm. I mean, I know I said I wanted to watch a horror film, but I don't think I need to subject myself to that. Okay, where we're at the moment. We have Fear Street Part 2, because I forgot I hadn't continued on with this when I watched the first one last year. We also have Choose or Die, which I'm quite tempted by. This looks quite interesting. So this one's another potential. And not that this one's a potential, but when I saw the title of this one, I thought it was like some kind of Halloween adaptation of H2O, as in Just Add Water, mermaid style, like Cleo! But I don't think it is, which is disappointing. So yes, those are my current 2 choices. Watch me pick neither of them and go for something completely different. Okay, film is ready. I've gone for, I think it was called Choose or Die. I thought it looked quite decent. I kind of wanted to go like middle range horror really, so hopefully that's a good one. Got my candles ready, dinner is nearly done, and I'm ready to sit down with the film. I have made my selection. I'm going to be watching Fear Street Part 2. Morning. It is 10 AM on Sunday. We are day 2 of this 48-hour readathon. I am halfway through my second book, which is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. Really enjoying this one. It's definitely got the creepy atmosphere. There's a lot of suggestive moments, which I like in a horror personally. I like to be kind of suggested and told something's going to happen before it is shown to me. I like a kind of slow reveal. I think it makes it much more atmospheric, so I am really liking this one. I was reading it last night in bed and I made the tactical decision to stop reading at about 11-ish because I had no lights on in the flat apart from in my bedroom. My door handle is broken at the moment, so I can't fully shut my door. I'm waiting to get it fixed, so I have to have like a door stop in between the door and the door frame so it doesn't shut. So it was pretty much just giving me all the creepy atmosphere. I could hear vague bits of wind and rain from outside. I made the tactical decision to put it down because I felt like it was about to start getting creepy. I'm enjoying the format quite a lot. It's, once you're actually like into the page by page of the story, like it is just kind of normal book format. Obviously it is slightly different, but there are at times picture prompts alongside things. There's also the headings of the chapters I really, really love. So they have these little pictures as the chapter headings, which I think is quite a nice comedic way to break it up almost. Like this whole book feels not entirely serious. Like there's certainly elements of, well, there's a large element of like kind of humour and people not necessarily taking things too seriously, but these little pictures with the descriptions of the flat pack furniture and stuff is so over the top in description that I'm finding it quite entertaining. So yeah, I am really liking this, really excited to keep reading. I'm about to head into town now. I'm going to grab some breakfast, then I'm going to go to a couple of shops, maybe a bookshop. I will of course take you along with me and update you on my thoughts and feelings on this later. I'm going to be sprinting again with my patrons for pretty much the whole afternoon. It's going to be a good day. Hello, I'm back from town. I'm now on Patreon sprints. I'm just updating you quickly and then I will be getting back to reading Horror Store. I read a little bit in a cafe whilst having some breakfast this morning, which was really nice. Read just a chapter and then I did a couple of bits of shopping, got some stuff that I needed, and also picked up 4 books because of course I did. It wouldn't be a 48-hour reading vlog if I didn't pick up some books. So I want to show you the books that I got. Okay, so first up I bought 2 new Steve Kavanagh books, or like new to me, not new out. So I bought Twisted and I also bought 50/50. A lot of people have been saying that they think I'll enjoy 50/50 now that I've read 13 and really enjoyed that one. So I got this one and then I also saw Twisted. The blurbs on these are so vague that I am very intrigued. The blurb for 50/50 says, 911, what's your emergency? And then it has 2 different people speaking. So person 1 says, my dad's dead, my sister Sophia killed him, please send help. And then person 2 says, my dad's dead, my sister Alexandra killed him, please send help. And at the bottom it says, one of them is a liar and a killer, but which one? Which just, yes. And then the blurb for Twisted says, before you read this book, I want you to know 3 things. Number 1, the police are looking to charge me with murder. Number 2, no one knows who I am or how I did it. Number 3, if you think you found me, I'm coming for you next. After you've read this book, you'll know the truth is far more twisted. I just thought it sounded really good. I loved 13, so yeah, I wanted to pick up both of these. I also saw the paperback for Grady Hendrix, the Final Girl support group. Felt like this was a relevant one to get, especially for this vlog, because obviously Grady Hendrix is the author of Horror Store, which I'm reading at the moment. This one is a kind of homage to horror slasher horror movies, but in the form of a kind of psychological thriller type of thing. The bookseller and I were chatting about it and that is the way that they said they would describe it, so I'm quite intrigued. I mainly honestly got this because I'm quite enjoying Grady Hendrix's writing style at the moment, although apparently this one is quite different. It's a different publishers and just generally takes a different tone from the others. I mean, certainly the cover definitely looks a lot different from the others. And then that was on buy one get one half price, so I also picked up The Haunting Season. This is Ghostly Tales for Long Winter Nights, and this is a compilation from multiple different authors. So we have Bridget Collins, Imogen Hermes Gower, Kieran Millward Hargrave, Andrew Michael Hurley, Jess Kidd, Elizabeth McNeil, Natasha Pulley, and Laura Purcell. So this is a little collection of short stories that are perfect autumnal reads. It's also a really pretty edition. So yeah, these are the 4 books that I bought. I feel like that's quite a decent haul. It's the kind of books that I wanted to come out with. I wanted to get more thrillery kind of books. I think I need to expand my thriller shelf because it's definitely overflowing at the moment. I definitely need to get new bookshelves sorted. It's a plan that is forming, just hasn't happened yet. So once that's done, I can be able to actually expand the shelf out and have multiple thriller sections on my bookshelves. So that's my haul. I'm gonna get back to reading and I will let you know when I finish Horror Store. Okay, reading update time. I have finished book 2 of The Weekend. So far, I am really enjoying the books I'm reading. This came out as a 4.5 out of 5 stars, so we're getting very high ratings. This was definitely very creepy, very fast paced once it got going. I felt very invested. The ending completely absorbed me and I need more. I just thought it was brilliant. I will never look at an IKEA shop in the same way again, and I'm really glad that I've finally been able to read this one. So I am, of course, now going to be moving on to reading The Ex-Hex, which is the final physical book on my TBR. I do still have The Man on Hackpen Hill as an audiobook, but I honestly think I might DNF that one because I'm not loving it, but I'm going to focus on reading The Ex-Hex now. I've just read the prologue, I think it was, or was it chapter 1? Yeah, so I've read the prologue and now I'm up to chapter 1. I am dubious with this one because it's not the type of genre I usually do reach for or do find really gripping as such. I don't often enjoy these books as much as I do others. However, I'm going in, giving it the benefit of the doubt and hoping that I do enjoy it. It's obviously a really popular book, so I'm really hoping that there is stuff in there that I do really like. But I've got about 2 sprints left with my Patreon, so I'm going to try and read as much as I can on those sprints, and then after the sprints I'm going to be getting a takeaway, watching Hocus Pocus 2 and just having a really nice chilled autumnal evening. I feel like it's just been a really nice cozy autumnal weekend. I am going to be doing more readathons with my patrons coming soon because I have absolutely loved doing this little 40-hour readathon. So if that is something you would like to be kept up to date on, it's going to be always available to all tiers. So normally my reading sprints that are weekly are available to anyone on the Hobbiton tier upwards, but the readathon, I just wanted it to be available for everybody. So that's available for every tier, but the sprints that are weekly is just available for the Hobbiton tier upwards. So that is all linked down below, but I will be doing more Patreon readathons because I have read so much. But I just want to show you, I got some earrings and I forgot to show you earlier, and they're so cute. They're little ghosties. Look how cute they are, little ghosties. They are from this company here, Chic, little indie seller, but yeah, I really like them. I'm also wearing my pumpkin jumper today. I got this from Etsy and I got it last year, and it's just like the perfect autumnal jumper. So yeah, it's a good autumnal day. I'm going to crack on with the X-Hex now, and I will let you know my thoughts and feelings on it later. McDonald's is on the way, Hocus Pocus 2 is all lined up, and I have been reading the X-Hex. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not loving this. It kind of gives me the similar vibes to like a early 2000s, mid 2000s Disney film. Not that's necessarily a bad thing as such, but that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it so far. Yeah, not adoring it, but also not disliking it, but I'm up to, wait, you can't barely see. I'm there, 120-ish pages in, but I'll keep going. I'll see what happens and if it picks up a little bit. But right now, I'm excited for Hocus Pocus 2. Good evening, I am coming in to wrap up this vlog. I haven't read any more of the X-Hex yet. I am going to read a little bit in bed shortly, but I'm going to go get ready for bed now. I just wanted to wrap this up. I have watched Hocus Pocus 2 this evening. I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. It made me laugh. I think you could tell they had a lot of fun filming it. I liked the homages to the original film as well. I thought it was a good time, so I'm glad that I was able to watch that tonight, and it's definitely put me in even more of an autumnal Halloween-y spirit. Yes, I haven't read any more, so I don't have any updated thoughts and feelings on my book, but I do really hope you have enjoyed this vlog. I feel like it's been a while since I've filmed a vlog like this, even though I don't think it's actually been that long, but it was good fun to film. I am going to be weekly vlogging for Spoopathon, so hopefully that is something you all enjoy. But I've had a really good time reading for this readathon over this weekend and just feeling like I'm actually getting out of my reading slump, which is very much needed. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. You can comment down below what you were reading over the weekend. Subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. You can also find a link down below to my online shop. You can also find my Patreon link down below where I do extra content such as readathons, podcasts, live shows, a book club, Discord chat, lots of different things. All linked down below. Thank you so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive.